Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So today we are going to explore something that has always been in my mind. Today we are going to explore this, and I have a lot of data I want to show you, but there are also quite significant takeaways that I hope to share with everybody. So stay with me. I will try to keep it as short as I can and really stick to the important points. So stay tuned. Alright, so here you see a rather large Excel sheet. So what I have here is I took sets from XY era until now. So that's almost 11 years worth of booster boxes. And what I did was I packed them to a price, which is current price. This is the price as of yesterday. But of course, this is also the number of years passed from their release dates. Let me give you an example. Team Up, they are about 6 years old as of now, but it may not be exactly six years. So if it is closer to 5, I may put them under 5 years. I may discount the price a little bit. Or if it is very close, let's say Team Up, they are maybe 1 or 2 months shy of 6 years, I may put them under 6 years, and I may just give them a little bit of pay rise just for the study, right? So what are all these numbers? These are basically very simple percentage. Let's say I assume that there are some boxes that makes 7% gain every single year, and then I'll just compound and so on. So this is 1 year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way to 10 years just to accommodate the XY boxes. In fact, XY base is actually turning 11 years quite soon, which is why you see it's not here, but it will be somewhere around here if I were to include it. But I don't think it affects the study. So let's back to this. So at first I was thinking, 7 to about 50-60% should be able to accommodate all the different boxes, but I'm surprised by by how much Evolving Sky is actually making in 3 years. And bear in mind, this is not year to year gain. This is a gain every single year. So for example, Evolving Sky, I'm not sure whether it's turning 3 already or is it already turned 3, but it's quite close if I'm placing it here. So what this means is it's making about 120% every single year. Year 1, year 2, and year 3. Of course, they don't exactly make 120% in the first year, but as we all know, because most of these sets, they have a price jump especially after they stop printing, right? After the second and the third year, usually they'll have a huge jump, and then the growth will usually slow down. But of course, the really good set like Evolving Sky will go and go and go. We do not know when they will stop, and even when they are slowing down, they are still going at a very high rate as compared to the weaker set, which we will see here. The other thing I did here is that besides the some of these sets, most of these sets actually, in the bracket you also see a different number. So for example, Battlestar 1.36%. Why is it different? Is because this 1.36% is when I consider 15% selling cost for platform, for processing fee, whatever fee you want to sell. I mean, most of us, if we are really selling, especially some of this pricey one, we are probably selling through eBay, TCG, Player, or if we do not have our own website, then if we are going to a vendor, we may be selling at about 85% of the market price, actual market price, so full market price. So these are the number that considers after taking 15% off the market price. So you will also see that the first 2 years here, I don't pack any numbers to them because I honestly do not think, I mean, it's a good reference, but I do not think it is worth looking into before they turn at least 3 years old, because usually, like I say, usually there's a big jump. It seems to be coming earlier. In the past, we will know that let's say if we are talking about sets in the Sun and Moon and Sword and Shield, we normally do not see booster boxes in this range, the $160 to $200 range, within 2 years, even before they stop printing. Usually not, right? Like Obsidian Flame, Temporal Forces, these prices, usually you only see them in the second or even the third year. But now it seems like everything is accelerated because the stock level is so low, the demand is so high, and so everything is just gone. Everybody is grabbing whatever they can. So things that usually happen in the third year, it seems to now happen in the second year. Things that usually happen in the second year, it seems to push even to the first year. Like Surging Spark, if you really look at it, it is probably going to end up here, right? At 100% return, and it's only 2 months old, right? So it's quite crazy. Okay. Anyway, let's go into the meat and potatoes of this study. Okay, so who do we have in this zone? In those sets that are only 1 to 2 years from release, we have the Paradox Rift. Paradox Rift is somewhere very close to the 20% return for sets that is in first year, and of course for the second year, and you will have the Scarlet and Violet base right here. There are also quite a lot of people who are actually looking up to this set, and they the sentiment is that this set will probably be doing okay. They have some good cards compared to the previous base sets, but I think we also have to consider the supply, whether it's printed as few as the Sword and Shield base, which is one of the reasons why it's doing so well. Sword and Shield base is over here, but Scarlet and Violet base, it may not perform just as well as this, but we'll see, right? Also, I have mentioned Battle Style at the moment is one of the weakest one, and in the third year, fourth year, we have quite a few. We have Vivid Voltage, Darkness Ablaze, Rebel Clash, all these sets that came out close to the same time. And fifth and sixth year, we have nothing. 7th year, we have Crimson Invasion, 8%, and 9, this is 8 years. 8 years, we have Sun and Moon base, Steam Siege. So both of the base set we have here. XY base, I cannot remember what the price is, but I think it's probably close to around this area. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's compared to Sun and Moon or Scarlet and Violet at the moment. And Primal Clash, again, right at the border, 17%, close to 20% return, not too bad. And this part in the middle, where most of the sets resides, let's go to them quickly. So first year we have, of course, the Obsidian Flame, Temporal Forces, Powder Evolve. I'm not going to go too much into it. I don't think it's very meaningful talking about them for now, based on now. The price now. Third year onwards is a little bit more interesting. So that's where the price starts settling, right? So Brilliant Stars, Chilling Rain is right at the border. It's almost going into the really good area. Anything more than 40%. So why do I think that anything around 30-40% or 40% and above is good? I think the reference point is, at least for now, based on this year, or last year, 2024, how S&P 500 did was, I think year on year they made about 35%, something like that. So if you can outperform S&P 500, I think we can safely say that it is at a best year, right? Of S&P 500. I think we can safely say that that is a very good investment. So Sword and Shield base is here, 19%. Forbidden Light, Lost Thunder, Celestial Storm. I didn't calculate all the percentage based on after sales and platform fee, because we can just interpolate a little bit. These are probably like 30%, 25, 28%. So not too big of a concern over there. Here we have Burning Shadow, Guardian Rising, Ultra Prism. This is probably close to 18%, 19%. Fates Collide, Evolutions, Roaring Sky, Breakpoint, Breakthrough, Ancient Origins, Fusion Strike, and Phantom Forces that I have mentioned earlier. Okay, next we go to the group, the few selected, the chosen ones that are actually doing extremely well, I'll say. In the second year, we have Lost Origin. No surprise there. I think it's turning 3 in a few months' time. Then we will see where it lands, right? Fusion Strike is over here, close to 50%, 49%. Extremely good. And then, of course, the most famous, everybody talks about, Evolving Sky over here, 108.4%. And we also have, in the 5th year, Unified Mind and Unbroken Bonds. These are close to 40% return after sales fee and everything for the 5th years, right? And then also Cosmic Eclipse, 50% flat. And last but not least, we have Team Up over here, 65.45%, rounding up all the different sets. One more thing I just want to highlight is that the most recent set, Surging Spark, I did not include because it's only 2 months old. And yeah, but I think it'll be interesting to see if within a year time, if the price doesn't drop, if it stays, then it's actually at this level, right? It's the highest we have ever seen in within the first year. And who is to say that they will not go even higher, right? But the more interesting thing to see is that what about the 2nd year or the 3rd year or the 5th year or the 4th year? How will we compare with sets with Fusion Strike and Evolving Skies? I think if you look at my previous video, which I'll link below, I have said that I believe Fusion Strike will end up somewhere between Surging Spark will end up somewhere between Fusion Strike and Evolving Sky in terms of the price after the 3 or 4 year period. So I believe we will land somewhere around here in 3 years' time. Time will tell whether I'm right or wrong. I could be way off. Maybe we will just go to the dumpster all the way down here. Who knows? But I truly believe that. And yeah, it will be fun to see what happens in 2 years' time. 2.5 years time. So a few important thing I want to highlight is that when I populated this table, I was thinking, how do I even make sense of this? How do I try to categorize them, and how do I make it useful? I think then I thought maybe just keep it very simple. Anything below that gains below, let's say 20%, we'll color code them in a certain way, and between 20 to 40%, I color code them in a different way, and anything above 40%, then I have the 3rd color code. And why 20%? Because as you remember, if you saw my earlier video, I was looking at all these booster boxes, and I found that in the 3rd and the 4th year, especially I think 3rd or 4th, should be 3rd year, the average gain is about 17%. So somewhere between 17 to 20% is roughly the average based on all these sets from XY era, right? So I just just randomly use a number here, about 19, somewhere around 20%. So it doesn't mean that anything above is bad. It doesn't mean that anything below is good, but it's just some way easier for us to visualize and differentiate the sets, right? So here you can see, if you're talking about sets like Battlestar, Vivid Voltage, Darkness Ablaze, Rebel Clash, and in fact this is one of the main reason I actually started on this study. It's because recently I've heard many people say, oh, Battlestar is going to the moon very soon, it's going out of stock in the Pokemon Center very quickly. Vivid Voltage, same thing, it's still in Pokemon Center in the US. And there are people who say that, oh, as soon as it goes out in the Pokemon Center, it's going to rise in price and things like that. So I was thinking, is it really true? And if it really goes up, and how far and where will it go, right? Where is it heading? So that is actually one of my main intention in trying to study this. So as I was looking, especially into the older sets like Crimson Invasion, Sun and Moon, Primal Clashes, and these are sets that we know on Steam Siege, right? We know based on hearsay. People always say, "Oh, Steam Siege," like a meme of a set, and you're rubbish of a set. But actually, if we really look at that, it is even considered. This is 8 years old, right? I mean, if you don't have to sell them early, if you just keep holding it, it still make like Sun and Moon base is still making 10% a year, year on year on year on year. Even considering 15% selling fees, platform fees, it is still making 10% a year. I know a lot of people will say, oh, it's because this is the bull market. You cannot consider this is not a normal time. Yes, I understood that. But if you really have the holding power, this is probably the best time to sell, right? If you have Sun and Moon base, if you have Steam Siege base, if I am the one holding them, if I'm the person holding them, I'll probably sell it right now. Honestly, because I said it in my previous video. In any of the average set in Pokemon, I'm not trying to cause, even more people to invest in Pokemon and be my competitor and snatch booster boxes from me. But at the same time, I consider myself someone who really try to study what is happening, and I like to share what I find out. And honestly, it's really quite crazy. If you just look at this, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4. What's that? 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of the sets that is making under 20% return after 3 years. And none of them are losing money, including Battlestyle as of now. And I forgot to mention a very important point. I am assuming a purchase price of $120. I'm not even considering a very, very low entry price, which you could have gotten maybe $90, $100. Some of you. For me, the cheapest I can get is probably 105, 110, where I am. But you could have gotten it even cheaper than this. So this number will be even higher, right? So the first thing that I needed to debunk is that, of course, I understand it is a bull market, but it is quite true what people say about Pokemon's sealed product, especially booster box. You really don't lose money. The product does not depreciate, and even considering 15% selling fee, so far at the moment, anything that is more than 3 years old, they are all having a positive return, all making money, right? And that's number one. Second thing is there are quite a lot of sets that are doing quite well. Only a handful of them are under 20%. Actually, a main bulk of them is in the middle, somewhere in the middle, 20 to 30%, 40%. So many of these sets, Ultra Prism, the older ones like Phantom Forces are excellent, And there are some, of course, cream of the crop, like Team Up, Evolving Sky. At the moment is netting more than 100% a year. Team Up, 65% a year for the past 6 years. The other thing I want to highlight is this. We all know that this goes through a bloom. Yesterday I was just thinking, actually this feels a little bit like flower, plants. This set is like a seed that you plant when you first bought them in first year, and you wait, you carefully, water them and put them under the sun, and hopefully they grow. But the fact is that sometimes we'll get some duds, that sets that are not doing so well, like a Battlestar Vivid Voltage. They may take a very, very long time to grow, and sometimes they doesn't even flower, right? They just grow slowly, like Crimson Invasion. After 7 years, the price is still $250. Steam Siege, Sun and Moon base, things like that. After many years, the price still does not go like $500, $1,000 that we hope for. But there are some other sets that are just blooming like crazy, right? Fusion Strike last year, it went crazy. Evolving Sky, it just in 1 year after release, everybody already saw where it's heading to. Of course, nobody's expecting it to go so fast, but almost everybody know it's going to do well, right? How well? We can't really tell, but we know it's going to be okay. That is the main thing that I was thinking of. How should we look at it? And Evolving Sky, right now is over here, but if we revisit the same chart next year, you may see that. What do you think it will go? There are many people who say 1,005. Actually, I think right now it's already close to 1,005, so it's probably at least going to be here, even if it stays flat. If it goes down a little, maybe here, or it goes down back to $1,002 a box, it will probably end up here. Maybe it stays flat, 1,005 at the end of the year, maybe here. And if it continues to go up, maybe here. Is it going to go to 2008? I don't think so. So what you're seeing here is usually they will form something like a U shape. U shape, and at the bottom is where I will say if you're really trying to time when to sell a booster box, that will be the best time. Like for example, Evolving Sky, when it goes, let's say if this is at the bottom, right at the bottom, which is the highest return per unit time you spend holding the box, that is the best time to sell, assuming you have another decent product or good product to invest in. If you do not have them, maybe it makes sense to hold them. But for product like this, battle style that is only making like a 1% per year, is it going to go higher? I do not know. Maybe. Or Crimson Invasion. Let's use Crimson Invasion as a better example. If you're holding like boxes and boxes, cases and cases of Crimson Invasion, should you sell them? I would think yes, because anything below here, I would say you should sell. Maybe except this Primal Clash. I don't know. It's close to 20%. But anything here, all this 10%, 12%, less than 10%. No, these are 4th year. You can sell them actually. Rebel Clash, I think recently they have quite a big jump. Maybe you wait a while more, another half a year, 1 year, see where it goes. Next year it may be here, it may be here. It may drop, it may continue to rise, who knows? But you will see that at the same price, as the year goes by, the average percent return actually gets lower and lower, unless the growth continues to pick up, which is not easy. This only happens with sets that are performing well and at high demand. The low sets with low demand, some people don't like to hear it, but it is a fact. When the price stays still, usually it just means that nobody wants to buy them, right? This is a free market. The price is decided by the demand. People want to buy them, people are willing to pay, the price goes up. People are not willing to pay, the price stays or it goes down. It's very direct. The sets that are very popular will continue to go up. The sets and stay at a high rate. And the sets that are not doing so well now, next year, let's go back to Battle Style because it's in the 3rd year, right? It's right where usually the blooming happens. A lot of people, especially after the earlier video I share about the things that I don't invest in, you see that actually these are the sets that I mentioned. There are quite a lot of people that says that, but Battle Style, I think they are going to have a good growth. Yes, I agree. All sets will go up, but I also mentioned that we honestly do not know. Where is it going to end up? Is it going to be here? 240 in a year's time? Or is it going to be here, 300? Do you think it will go to 300, 400? Who knows, right? If it goes here, good for you. I hope you have loads of it. But if not, then it will probably be staying around this area, 160, 180. Is it a good return? 6% return? I think that's fine. I mean, if you are already holding a lot of Battle Style from before, you bought it at $80, then good for you. But if you are going to start investing in it now, I think there are better place to put your money in, honestly. Or rather, if you really want to invest, I can also suggest the alternative of waiting for new sets that's coming up. There are quite a few new sets that are coming out. I know in US the pre-order situation is quite crazy, but I think it is still possible to find a good shop or vendor who allows you to either do a pre-order without paying the full fee, or just wait for the market to cool down a little bit until we can buy the booster boxes or the cards, the packs at a reasonable price, and then we start investing again. Because what we do not want to do is, if we invest in another set like a Vivid Voltage or Darkness Ablaze, and then the money just gets stuck there for another few years and become another Crimson Invasion, as compared to the possibility of investing in a better sets, right? Or even just buying the set like Astro Radiance. I don't know where it's going to go. Temporal Forces, if you can still find them, I think it's a good one. Paradox Rift, I do not know. It's at the moment not doing very well. I have quite a few boxes, so I'm a little bit worried, but who knows where it will go. We'll have to wait a while more. It is still quite young. Yeah, so that was what I was thinking about when I was doing this. So like I said, I don't want to make the video too long, and I think the key takeaway from me, as I was looking at this chart, and in the past 2 months looking at all this data, is that I realized, and also hearing from many of the gurus out there, all these sets, they have a blooming period. Let's go back to the same flower analogy. They have a blooming period, usually around year 3 to year 5. For the really, really good sets like Evolving Skies, the blooming may start earlier, like year 2, it already start going to the moon at a very high rate, but the actual bloom was definitely last year. It went up by, I do not know, 200, 300%? I think 200%, right? So it was crazy. So most sets have a bloom like that. No, not exactly like that. It has a bloom, but the growth will slow down after the blooming period, when the bloom usually happens, and based on understanding, is that is because they stop printing it and people start realizing, oh no, we have no more new supply coming from Pokemon Center, and people start grabbing whatever is left on the market, and it will stabilize once the supply and the demand reach equilibrium. So that's what the price level is after the printing. So the other thing I want to highlight is that the growth for all these sets typically slows down after the blooming period. Like Evolving Skies as another example, once it reach equilibrium, usually it will stay quite stable. If there's still quite a lot of demand, the supply is going away quickly, then it will continue to grow. Otherwise, it will stay probably quite stable, ups and downs a little bit, but pretty much staying at the same level, same as what we are seeing with Fusion Strike at the moment. But the opposite, which a lot of people do not talk about, is the low demand set. Sometimes we expect, low demand, all these sets, they should have a jump in price and a explosion in demand right after they go out of stock in Pokemon Center Bay. But I think it is very important for us to acknowledge that this may not be exactly true, because from what we saw in the older sets, they can stay at a low or anything below $200. I will consider it low, because the MSRP at where I am is actually close to $200. So it is still at around 200. If it is still close to MSRP after 4 or 5 years, I would say that they are still at a very rather low price, right? And these are the lower demand sets, and sometimes you do not even see a bloom at all. Maybe and then it will just stay at that price for a long time, and we will just slowly go up a little. So it may not be very wise of us, honestly, to expect, not accept. I'm sorry, that's a typo over there. Let me correct that. There we go. Pardon me for the error. So it's not very wise for us to expect all sets to bloom like sets like Fusion Strike or you know, even Lost Origin, because it just does not apply to every single set. It only happens to good sets. Decent set, you will see some growth picked up like the recent Silver Tempest, but it will not be suddenly going to $300 to $400 without a good reason, right? Yeah, so yeah, before I end the video, I just want to say, really be very, very careful if you are thinking of picking up booster box at the moment, because there's really not many choices out there, and I see more and more people thinking that Vivid Voltage and sets like a Battle Style is a good idea just because they are the only thing available. I think we really have to be very careful. Of course, I do not think it is a right way to invest or wrong way to invest, because at the end of the day, if your expectation is making 5% a year, 10% a year, I think it is still possible. If you are looking at sets like Vivid Voltage or Battle Style like I showed you earlier, even sets like Crimson Invasion is doing like 10% a year, or was it 8% a year, right? After so many years. So it's not a bad thing at all, because those people who bought that at the early years, if they did not just sell it early, they are still making gains. They're still making gains. It's not like they're losing money. But if the key thing is do not expect to make similar kind of return compared to sets like Fusion Strike by investing into sets of a lower demand, because I think if we do that, then we may be disappointed. So yeah, be careful out there, everybody. This is a bull market, and like the saying goes, we really have to be fearful when everybody's greedy, and be a little bit more picky in what we are buying. Or it's perfectly fine to really keep our cash to ourselves, keep it close in our pocket, in our wallet, and wait for the next good one. And if there's no good one in the near future, then it is also okay to just stop for a little while, right? Just take a breather, look at the market, see what's going on, and watch the show. Yeah, see you in the next one.